Joining me right now is one of the top 10 welterweights in Australia, New Zealand area, BJ Bland. What's going on, BJ?
Hey, bro, not much. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good, man. I wanted to first get into your nickname. It's the longest nickname in the history of nicknames. Sorry, but it's a bad stylistic matchup. What's the story behind that?
That's just a joke, bro. It's not my actual nickname. It's just a bit of a piss take, really. After trying to get fights for so long and having everyone turn me down. I was talking to my manager, and he said that I'm the hardest person he's had to try and match. And he said everyone just says you're a bad stylistic matchup. That's why they don't want to fight you. So I just changed it to that on my Facebook page. Just a bit of tongue in cheek, really. It's not my actual fight name. Just taking the piss. Just taking the dig at some of these boys who are looking for easier fights.
Your last fight, it wasn't even a fight. You never even got to fight. It was a bout cancellation for the XFC lightweight title against Isaac Hardman, in April. How devastated were you to find out that he was being pulled from that fight?
I was gutted. I was real devastated. At the gym, training's hard, and there's no excuses. Our coach is he's a tough man, so you can't get out of training for any reason. So for 8 weeks, you basically have no life. You're just committed to working hard in the gym, and then to have it sort of pulled out so late, it was pretty hard to take. It was really disappointing. It was the first time I was dropping to lightweight, and because of that, I made sure I was really on the ball. I didn't want to kind of half-ass things and have a late sort of rush to try and make the weight. So, I was disciplined throughout the whole time. And, it just kind of ended up being a bit of a big disappointment and a lot of wasted effort, really.
You mentioned earlier that there have been many fighters that have, turned down bouts with you. Can you reveal any of these guys? You want to call them out?
Yeah. I can reveal it right now. Anyone can reveal. Pull up Tapology, look at the top 20 lightweights in Australia, and every single one of them, bar Isaac, who's injured, and Kieran Joblin, because he's sort of a teammate. He's sort of one of the boys. But everyone else I've called out on numerous times, not offensively, but just said, hey, I want to fight. Who's keen? There's been a few guys who have replied, and then I've contacted the promoters and got the matches set up to the guys that replied, and then when it comes to it, they've gotten cold feet. So, all of them, yeah.
It must be really frustrating that, you can't get fights, and this must extremely limit your career progression. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. That's been the most frustrating thing. So I'm from a small town, sort of 5 hours away from Auckland. So I threw in my building apprenticeship, left my wife, not left her, but she stayed back in the town while I moved up to Auckland and got set up, all with the purpose of making a good run at the fight career. And then I just haven't been able to get the fights to do it. So we're moved up here full-time now, but still just waiting for these fights so I can try and progress.
You haven't fought in over a year, and you are coming off a loss to Corey Nelson. Is that last performance a distant memory, or does it fuel you to this day?
It still fuels me. That was a late notice fight as well, because I wasn't able to get fights. Even at that point, I was trying to get fights at lightweight, but having no luck. So I messaged the promoter of the show, and he said he had no spots for a lightweight, but if I want a welterweight fight, I can fight Corey. It was a close, tough fight, and sort of, if anything, it kind of fueled me, but also gave me confidence that he's the top welterweight in Australia, and I went toe-to-toe with him for 5 rounds and come out sort of still standing, still competitive, where he's finished a lot of the other guys that are ranked in Australia.
how long ago did you decide to actually move up to Auckland and dedicate yourself fully? Has it been a few years now, or is it something that you did recently?
Recently, so within the last year, I was sort of coming up towards the end of last year, coming up sort of living on a friend's couch, really, staying sort of like 2 weeks at a time, then going home, doing a little bit of work, getting some money and coming back up. But yeah, at the start of this year, me and my wife had made the move full time up to Auckland.
How big is it for you to have your wife fully supporting you, even moving to another city with you to kind of be together and go, on this journey together?
Oh, it's huge. She's an absolute champion. I wouldn't be able to do it without her. She's the main breadwinner in our marriage at the moment, because obviously fighting when you're starting out doesn't pay great, and if you're not getting any fights, it pays zilch.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and then just the confidence, and yeah, the fact that she's willing to leave home, it's huge. It's really motivating too. Makes me want to work hard and makes me want to perform for her and for us, for our future.
You also have a great team around you, City Kickboxing. They've been on an insane run as of late.
Yeah.
Having that type of atmosphere and seeing your teammates succeeding, does that push you to another level when you go train?
Absolutely. It's huge. It's great for the confidence coming into fights, because you're training with world-class guys, so your opponent's probably not going to bring anything you haven't seen in the training room yet. And it's also massive for just the hunger. Like, you're seeing guys like Izzy and Dan, the success they're getting, the recognition, the rewards. But it also makes not being able to get fights twice as frustrating, So you see, like, these guys getting 50K bonuses where you can't even get, a match on a local card to try and get to where they are. It's like that carrot's just been dangled in front of your nose.
Over the last year, what have you been working on the most in the training room?
Probably my complete MMA game, like blending it all together. Like I said before, I'm from a small town that doesn't actually have like an MMA gym. So all my training before would be like boxing with boxers, jiu-jitsu with jiu-jitsu guys, and I've been trying to kind of mold it myself. But here at City, it's all handed to us on a platter. So it's just been sort of tying everything together and making a more complete game.
You are finally making your HEX debut, July 21st. You're main eventing against Jason Ponet, who is a gritty veteran.
Yeah.
Has this debut been a long time coming?
Yeah, it has. It's been too long. I tried to get on HEX a while ago, and just things didn't pan out. And so I'm stoked. I'm stoked that they have got me on the card, and I'm even more stoked that my original opponent who pulled out, which is a big surprise, that they actually went to the effort to find me a replacement, even as far as not being able to find one in Australia. So flying Jason in from Thailand. So yeah, I'm just stoked to be on HEX and really grateful to them.
Jason Ponet, how do you stack up against him? Because he is a guy that's been around many promotions all over the world, trained at many different gyms.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's had 30 fights. I think he's ranked in the top 10 in the UK. He stopped UFC veterans, so he's a really tough fight. I think experience-wise, this isn't my first rodeo either. I've had a few fights too, so that doesn't concern me. But yeah, I think it'll be a good fight. In terms of, there's nothing I'm too worried about. Just in terms of who I'm training with and how I've prepared, I think I'll be in the best condition to bring it to him and win the fight.
Is this the type of opponent you expected in your return to the cage?
To be honest, I had no idea. I would have taken anyone. So he could be a 30-fight veteran like Jason Ponet, or a young guy just starting out who's on a bit of a knockout streak. But either or, I wasn't fussed as long as I was getting a good tough fight.
Do you believe a lot of the guys nowadays that are fighting in Australia and New Zealand, they're handpicking their opponents too much? Is this become some kind of like a disease that has
Yeah,
throughout the community?
yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. I was saying to someone the other day, it's not like they're running a fight career, they're running a political campaign. You know, they want to pick easy fights and just wait for the UFC to return to Australia and run like a big social media push and try and get in that way. But each to their own. I don't really have the luxury of doing that, but yeah, I can't hate on them for it. But it is frustrating when they're sort of trying to get easy fights and easy wins and padding their records.
Well, this fight coming up is definitely not an easy fight for you or for him. That's the reason why it's the main event, and it's going to be exciting. Your opponent, what do you approve by defeating a guy like Jason Ponet with so much experience?
I prove I'm ready for the international stage. Like like I say, he's ranked in the top 10 in the UK for UFC vets. Last fight was on the ACB. So I proved that I'm ready for a sort of major promotion, or at least on that level. Other than Isaac in Australia, who's injured, so he can't fight. I've cleared everyone out there. I haven't had to fight them, but they've all waved the white flag. And so I'm past Australia now. So this is my first sort of big international fight, and a good performance here will prove that I deserve to be at that level, and I should continue to get fights at that level.
Other than the UFC, is there other promotions you are eyeing right now for your future?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not solely focused on the UFC. I'd fight for Bellator or Risen, ACB. Any major promotion would be as a goal of mine.
All right, July 21st in Perth, HEX Fight Series 15 main event. BJ Bland will take on Jason Ponet. This is going to be what you guys call a cracker of a fight, correct?
Yeah, bro. Yep. She'll be all out action.
All right, thank you, BJ, for your time, and we'll definitely talk in the future.